Thank you for staying with us here on the Channel One Newsroom. Now, officials from the Environmental Protection Authority have begun deploying equipment to monitor noise levels from churches and other places of worship in the Ashanti region. Now, this move comes in response to growing complaints from residents in several communities who say loud activities from nearby churches and other places of worship are disrupting their peace. Channel One News' Middle Belt Bureau Chief Hafiz Tijani has more.
Noise pollution remains a pressing issue worldwide, and Ghana is no exception. In urban areas, noise is increasingly seen as an environmental hazard linked to social, economic, and religious activities. The World Health Organization identifies excessive noise as a major contributor to hearing loss in both children and adults. In the Ashanti region, the EPA receives an average of 5 noise-related complaints each day, with over 75% linked to churches. Concerned by this trend, the EPA has stepped up efforts to engage church leaders as part of a wider advocacy and public education campaign.
We have been receiving complaints in our office, and about 70% of these complaints, you realize that we're emanating from church services and church activities. So the question we want to ask, do we go ahead and do prosecution, or we go ahead to close down those facilities? The answer is no. Probably they don't really know what they are doing. As Jesus said it on the cross, Father, forgive them for they know not what they are doing. So we don't want to go ahead and do prosecution, but we decided to bring them here and then tell them what they are doing and its impact on their
noise pollution patterns caused by religious activities. The Ashanti Regional Director of the EPA emphasized that churches which flout the rules will face strict sanctions.
They are religious leaders, which means that God expects them to do the right thing. So we don't expect that after this training, they are also going to go contrary to the law. But should they do that, I think the legal officer spoke on that we will invoke the relevant sanctions in the our Environmental Protection Authority Act, where they will be prosecuted and they will be tried by a court of competent jurisdiction, and then the relevant sanctions pronounced. We are also going to replicate what was done in the Volta region. We also do it here, where some churches will be selected at random, and then the noise levels also measured. The information that will be gathered will also be used to raise awareness.
Some religious leaders have pledged to adhere to the agency's guidelines.
The implementation mostly will depend on education. So as policy makers of our churches, we will then channel these things to the higher authorities, and at our own levels, we will also educate people on what we have learned today.
I think it has been so useful for us, and I'm appealing to all churches that we should try and minimize noise if it is possible, and maybe in future we will want to advise that the environmental protection will rather bring us some of their gadgets so that we can also measure the level of noise that we make.
As the national body responsible for regulating and protecting the environment, the EPA says it remains committed to ongoing sensitization efforts to address noise pollution and other environmental challenges.
The Environmental Protection Agency is urging church leaders to abide by the rules and regulations governing their operations. Hafiz Tijani, Channel One News, Kumasi, Ashanti Region.